Yo, what's up?
As always, we have the live chat, and with us already, Mop Flood by Arashi and Patrick Owens chilling out here. Guys, we're going to be showing you guys some photos from last weekend and talking about some stuff, some couple of updates from a few things we were talking about here in the past with some alien stuff, with some ghost stuff, but getting right to it, man. How you been, Tom? How you doing?
Doing wonderfully. By the way, if any of you guys out there want to jump on the show, you're totally welcome.
You want to weigh in on this? Tom, what do we want to start out with tonight? What is your itch for? I have some photos.
There is a haunted cemetery called Bachelor's Grove. Place where vampires go at night.
This is the sign on the way in to Bachelor's Grove. This was a let me see if I got a better picture of it. Sunrise to sunset. There you go. This is one of the roads there where you'll say a lot of like ghost action happening through your red orbs, basketball-sized orbs of red energy. Will patrol down through here. Old Depression era like cars, ghost cars. That happens over here, Tom. Do you know about that? Have you heard about?
Yes, I have heard of that.
This is that famous trail. Oh yeah. And of course, the place is monitored by the police. That were Pete, one of the main volunteers over there, is working to get some footage. He's doing a Freedom of Information Act request to get footage that I guess the police have admitted that they have.
Ooh.
They got some strange stuff. That's the stone where it looks like the Madonna ghost.
Yes.
Yeah, woman in white was supposedly snapped there in infrared. Yeah. So, very famous photo was taken right here. And who knows if it's I have my doubts after finding out some of the background of that photo. I think it's just
so you're a doubting Thomas now.
Yeah, pretty much when it comes to this one. I think that there are other things happening out here. I just don't think that that's one of them. So
at two, Joel Martz.
No, for this instance. But this
is one of the most haunted cemeteries in the United States.
Yeah, you're talking some really old graves. You're going to have everything from the Civil War, and maybe a little bit before that, to its heyday was like in the 1920s. You're going to find a lot of graves from the 1920s there.
A 1-year-old committed suicide. He hated life.
It's a pretty famous spot right here. And if anyone knows in the live chat, if anyone can tell me why were people leaving dollar bills, y'all, by the graves? They were leaving money, dollar bills, by like all the graves.
Was it for the Day of the Dead, Joel?
I don't know.
It may have been the Mexican celebration for the Dawn of the Dead.
Think so?
There is a saint that it's a Catholic thing. I don't know anything about it. And they leave money. And once you leave money for the saint, it keeps the money. You don't get it back.
So this is a pretty famous spot right here, the infant daughter. A lot of the graves over the years were pilfered and stolen. There was open graves here. There was bones taken.
Mhm.
It's been a notorious spot for Satan worshippers go in and do their thing.
Mm.
A lot of those people have been. There's videos of it online where you'll get dark robed figures with
Oh my!
daggers hanging from their, like daggers.
Oh.
And they'll go out there and they will stand in circles and they will. I found animal bones. I think I'm going to have a picture here coming up. This is just a photo through the western side of the cemetery.
Do you guys remember Carefree gum from the 90s? Whatever happened to that?
That's the stuff that like lost its flavor in like 30 seconds, wasn't it?
Fruit Stripes gum?
That was another one.
Dentine.
Live chat, if
I'm
you
a huge Dentine fan.
you see anything weird in these photos, call it out. I was looking through them pretty hard. I didn't see any sort of like, obvious shadows or something strange. But I don't.
Well, behind this trail cam, doesn't that look like a twisted face in profile?
What's up, Jace?
Hey, Joel. Hey, John.
What's up?
Hello.
Isn't it like 3 o'clock in the morning over there?
No, it's about 20 past 4, man.
20 past 4.
Yeah, it's pretty early. But anyway, I've got something to get me by. I'm all right.
I don't think he slept last night.
No, I've not been to bed. Well, I've just been listening to you lads.
What Chase didn't tell you is that he goes to the Dragon at night.
Tom, it's pure
He
carnage
just got
up there
back.
tonight. It's pure carnage. The bodies everywhere.
He was at the pub. He leaves there about 2 or so, and then takes him about an hour to walk home.
Yeah, through the cemetery.
Yeah. Yes.
In here, it's like with the majority of these graves, if it could have been knocked over, it was knocked over. People would go back in there and have crazy parties and stuff. And for decades, this place was just ran down. It was overgrown and forgotten. And it's so amazing that so many of these headstones were stolen. And it's got quite a reputation. People have seen all sorts of stuff out there. People will see like a ghost replay of a farmer being dragged behind his horse into the pond over there.
Oh my!
Replayed. Because multiple people have reported that, and supposedly that's something that's happened over there. We're gonna get to some pictures of the pond in a minute, but that's one of the things that allegedly occurred here.
I heard they saw a crack baby dancing around in the woods once.
This is the pond. It was kind of overgrown and gross, but this is where the all the magic would happen.
Joel, is it one road in, one road out, same road out?
For the cemetery, yes.
Check your privilege.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, people have recovered gravestones out of this for whatever reason. People decided to throw gravestones into the pond. Every once in a while, I guess they'll recover a dead body out of here.
That's just good country fun.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a creepy looking place or anything. Like the pond is the place they'll give you the creepers more than anything.
That just reminds me of pea soup. That's all.
You just want to jump in there and take a swim, don't you?
I want to get some crackers out.
Picked up on with he was
Yeah, the Shamrock Shake.
Yeah. Oh, there were people in there for sure.
I mean,
that's where the mobsters dump the bodies.
Yeah, it's with them. Yeah, exactly. So Cassie's just kind of looking around here. This is okay. So this is a shot from the pond up towards the cemetery, and supposedly this is like the best place ever to find orb activity.
Shut down overnight.
Yeah, you can't get in there
unless you have special permission, like they got on the TV show Ghost Adventures. I was watching the episode where they went there at night, and betwixt the trees, they saw a basketball-sized orb of light, and it was playing a game of cat and mouse with them in between the trees and bushes.
I don't know what this was, if it was my imagination or what, but right in here, right next to this tree, by this grave over here, when I was there last fall, when it was starting to get real cold, there was a warm spot right here. There was a warm spot that you would feel on your cheeks. You could put your hand into it, and there was like a wall of temperature differential right there. Wish I had your thermal imager right here, because you had your cheeks. You could put your hand into it. Had an obvious wall of temperature differential right there. Magnus, turn that. I wish I had your thermal imager right here, because you had Magnus. What's going on? A wall of temperature differential right there. Magnus, you need to turn this off. Just need you to I didn't mean it literally.
Well, that got put paid to Magnus.
Well, he just wanted to say hi. So, shadowy spot. I don't know. I mean, have you ever been to a cemetery that just gives you the creeps, Jace?
Yeah, I walk through one every Friday night coming back from the dragon.
Really?
Yes, there's a very scary cemetery by the dragon.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know if I send you the pictures, Joel. I sent a couple to Tom, and for the life of me, I thought I got orbs. It was the strangest thing. And unfortunately, or rather fortunately, I suppose, I managed to debunk it the next day. But yeah, it is rather an old cemetery. I think it's 1600s, and it's a Norman cemetery that I walked back through, or run back through.
Britain, I mean, you got people buried everywhere.
Yeah, they're just the patio outside's full of them.
That's interesting. You're talking about in England, right, Jace? I just missed
yes,
that.
yeah, right here.
One of my really good friends grew up there. His family owned a pub for. They had it in the family for about 400 years, and he said he had a ghost that he saw every night that used to come visit him in his bedroom upstairs. Him and his brother swear by this.
Wow, whereabouts?
Devon, probably.
Okay.
I think it was in Lyme Regis.
Okay, yeah, long way away from. Well, I say a long way away. Probably about 5 or 6 hours away from where I am.
Where's that?
I'm right on the border of Yorkshire and Derbyshire.
Oh,
and Devon is southwest.
Right.
Home of Yorkshire pudding.
Oh yeah.
And in Devon, it was the clotted cream that made them famous.
Go on holiday down there to Devon, Cornwall.
Nice.
Magnus, any thought as to what this is? People were leaving dollar bills by the graves.
They made it rain.
Well, that's either maybe some sort of traditional significance to family of the deceased, or
they were
by a brother getting a table dance.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. They were left at like a lot of the graves, though. It wasn't just like, one grave. Grave.
I've not heard of that before. I've not heard of leaving money by graves.
I think that's for Santa Muerte.
You think it's for the Day of the Dead?
Yeah, man.
Could be, yeah.
All Saints do, and it is. They even have like little shrines that they will make for this saint that is a skeleton, skull face, and you leave the money, and then you close the box doors, and then when you open the doors again, the money's gone. It wants money.
Guess who would tell you, we were getting clean hits on the K-12, on the K2, sorry. We were getting yellow pings.
I'm out on the west coast of Canada here, as you guys know, and there's an old cemetery in Victoria, BC, and unfortunately, it's been vandalized quite a few times. But basically, there's World War I, World War II memorials there. There's stuff from the 1800s. It's got a real vibe to it, though.
They threw spaghetti on the headstone.
This is another example here. It's like, okay, this headstone has got to weigh, a lot. And this was its mount originally, and someone just rolled it over a couple of times just because they could. Tom, you got to get out here for this. When you come to Chicago, we're going to go to Bachelor's Grove. You too, man.
And we'll get some Italian-style pizza.
This is what we ought to do. Let's just set up lawn chairs in Bachelor's Grove and eat some Illuminatis. That'll be great. Why not?
And it's really so popular that, or has got such a name to it that the cops are in there guarding it at night, huh?
Yeah, it's mostly, I think, because it was just a big place for years for people to vandalize.
Okay.
And again, people go back in there and they'll do satanic stuff and like leave candles and stuff behind, and it's patrolled for a reason, I guess.
Right.
People will run in there with their socks on like it's a kitchen floor they can slide across.
Oh, tell me it's the South African aliens. Sorry, Zimbabwe aliens.
Everything you say sounds hilarious, Jason.
Thanks, Tom.
You said patio. I was about to die.
Oh, yeah, the body's on the
Patio's
patio.
Patio's a fun word.
Patio. Oh, God. Yeah, at least
By the way,
find this.
patio is a great brand of Mexican food.
So, as an update to the aircraft carrier deal, remember how we showed the footage from the F-18's infrared camera a couple of weeks ago on the Shadowcast?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that was only a part of the story, and that it was viewed by two separate aircraft carriers, and it was over the period of like 3 days that they were tracking multiple objects.
My.
Coming up out of the water, going into space, coming back down, going under the water.
It would seem the plot is thickening.
They said that they were close enough to tell that there were no discernible control surfaces, and that they were basically described as flying Tic Tacs, approximately 55 feet across.
Flying
The
Tic Tac.
flying Tic Tacs return.
Tic Tacs are. Well, nobody talks about. Yeah. So there was just a lot more to this story, I guess, and I think what it boils down to is that from how they describe it, I think that just like all the crews were kind of like very well aware that they were chasing around a UFO, and they just kind of knew that it was going to get out. That's kind of what makes sense to me as to why anyone's even allowed to talk about this. But
explosive new update
it's explosive,
to a UFO sighting that we discussed first back in October of last year, after a piece of footage, one of 3, that was released and said to have been taken from an F-18's infrared camera back in 2004 after a mysterious, what they called a tic-tac shaped object, displaying otherworldly characteristics, incredible speeds to the point where it was able to outrun the F-18s that were tracked. And now we have this new bombshell Pentagon report that has just come to light, going into further detail about how this, quote, supersonic tic-tac UFO actually stalked
Supersonic Tic Tac
aircraft carrier for days before finally vanishing into thin air, where not only 1 but 2 different aircraft carriers captured this thing on the radar and tracked it. First, the USS Nimitz, as well as a few minutes later, the USS Princeton, then reported the radar spot had reappeared some 60 miles away, moving it.
Follow that Tic Tac.
So before we go further into this new Pentagon report, and just to give you a basic rundown of what happened during this sighting, it was a sunny day in November of 2004 off the coast of San Diego, where the USS Nimitz battle group encountered a technology beyond anything known to Earth. It was a mysterious aircraft that was said to be around 45 feet long and shaped like a Tic Tac or a Tylenol capsule. basically like
Shaped like an Ambien.
oblong white
Giant Tylenol
and so the
happening.
came down and hovered and maneuvered for hours
45-foot Tylenol.
to intercept it. The investigation by the U.S. Navy of the incident was hushed up, and the only public mention was in a little-known aviation magazine read by the craft was referred to as an AAV, or an anomalous aerial vehicle, and multiple
That's not what it
sightings
looks
of
like.
such craft were observed up to the Nimitz incident.
Finish this
It was
tic-tac.
said that a USO, or an unidentified submerged object,
That
in
looks
other
like a
words,
giant
UFO that
Johnson,
comes
get
out
a
of the
radar
water,
lock.
was seen underneath the UFO at one point, where it looked to be docking with
This
the
looks
object
exactly
on the water
like, hey,
before
check this
darting
out,
off
Tom. You see what I see here? This is the same object over Turkey.
Yeah, those
Joel,
flying
you know what
caves.
I'm thinking the Rendlesham Forest object.
at an enormous speed. And it said that the
Rendlesham Forest?
AAV's unknown technology
Yes.
was captured in this leaked footage. Now, what I can say is that this footage has
Bianchi.
been corroborated by men who were there, and I will post a link to an article down in the video description where you can read more about the story. And then we have an official Navy document from 2004 that goes into detail about just what happened during this incident. And I will post the PDF version to this also down below. But just a few things described during the encounter was that apparently for days, the USS Nimitz radar system had been detecting these unknown vehicles coming down from
Well, hang on, I
above
wanted to
their
read this,
radar. Was
this
that
report. While descending from 24,000 to gain a better view of the unidentified contact in the water, spotted it appeared to be capsule-shaped, wingless, mobile, white, oblong, pill-shaped, 25 to 30 feet in length, no visible markings in the glass. Can you guys see this, or is that too?
I can see it. Yeah.
You guys can make
Yeah,
that
I got it.
Okay. Interesting, because he kind of glosses over the report.
Apparently,
but-
for days, the USS Nimitz radar system had been detecting these unknown vehicles coming down from above their radar range, from altitudes at around 80,000 feet and above. And so they sent out these F-18s, whose call sign at the time was, quote, Fast Eagle. And so the jets sighted the airborne contact, as they called it, which appeared to be, quote, capsule-shaped, wingless, mobile, white, oblong, pill-shaped, 25 to 45 feet in length, no visible markings or glass. And so now, leading up to today, we now have this leaked report that was originally obtained by Las Vegas's KLAS TV station, which tells how the USS Princeton had multiple radar contacts with this AAV, where the radar caught the object hovering at around 60,000 feet before nosediving to the ocean surface in a matter of seconds. And that's when it appeared 2 days later, and the F-18s were sent out, were scrambled to intercept it, but the object had, quote, turned itself invisible, according to the pilots. The new report also goes on to state that although the object had disappeared, they were still able to detect it as it was triggering a, quote, circular disturbance in the water about 50 to 100 meters in diameter. It also says that an E-2C Hawkeye surveillance plane that was in the area had managed to detect the object but was unable to lock on, suggesting that it was able to dodge radar. It also adds that the craft matches no known aircraft or air vehicle currently in inventory of the United States or any foreign nation. And so I'll put the link to the PDF of this document, but in it, it goes on to describe how back in 2004, the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group, which was operating off the west coast of the United States, on several occasions detected these multiple anomalous aerial vehicles operating in and around the vicinity of the aircraft carrier. So there were multiple sightings back in 2004, not just this one. And in the article here, as you're seeing, it lists off some key assessments about the object The first was that the vehicle, the AAV, was no known aircraft or vehicle, as we just stated, that it exhibited advanced low observable characteristics at multiple radar bands, rendering U.S. radar-based engagement capabilities ineffective. The AAV exhibited advanced aerodynamic control surfaces and no visible means to generate lift. So, this object had nothing on it like a plane where you have to have lift and drag and things of that nature. This object
It has a cloaking device.
Exhibited advanced propulsion capability by demonstrating the ability to remain stationary with little to no variation in altitude, transitioning to horizontal or vertical velocities far greater than any known aerial vehicle with little to no visible signature. The object possibly demonstrated the ability to cloak or become invisible to the human eye or human.
This list of key assessments is devastating.
Highly advanced capability to operate undersea, completely undetected by our most advanced sensors. I mean,
pause it for a sec, Joel?
Just from this little list.
This is a mic drop.
So remember when we were talking about the cigar-shaped crafts that were able to do mysterious, that cast a shadow in relation to the Phobos incident. And these pill-shaped crafts it's not that much different from the cigar shape. And I asked earlier about if that something to do with that kind of shape that would help with cloaking. And it seems to be a pattern here. There's something about that shape.
Yes.
It must reveal. My guess is there's something about that shape that it can reflect all forms of light. To the human eye, anyway, from it seeing it. Just a hypothesis.
It could also change its shape or elongate.
Okay.
As it reaches high speed. And if it cloaks and uncloaks, who knows what it's doing or what shape it takes when it's done flying around.
This is just like they're basically like them releasing this kind of information. It's like they're trying to tell us that there's something going on without actually coming out and saying it. They're saying it's unidentified aerial vehicle. They're not calling it alien.
Under the ocean water.
Well, Joel, they can't, because that would mean identifying like what planet it came from. They can't. There's no way to do that. They said in the report this is not any known technology.
If this was the Chinese, which it wouldn't be the Chinese, or if this was the Russians, which
it's not. That's ridiculous. It's not.
What I'm saying though is, if it was, would they make this public? I mean, if they had those kind of capabilities,
of course. Yeah, of course not. They said it's no known technology.
This is just off the coast of San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's interesting too. Yeah, it's just.
And you would see this massive swell of water being moved around and displaced from the object as it went down. We've spoken many times on this channel about our oceans and how truly mysterious they are. We talk about the fact that only 10% of our oceans have ever been explored by mankind. 10%. Okay, so that's 90% of our oceans. We've never been there. We don't know what's down there. We've done no investigation. And I've said many times that, you can forget space. We have an alien world right here on the planet within our ocean, where on countless occasions, these unidentified objects have been seen coming up, blasting out of the water, moving or glowing underneath the water by ships and airplanes flying ahead, as well as objects coming down from space, blasting down into the water.
So, they could be down in the briny depths.
Down there. In any part.
It was also detailed in the report that they can't identify the propulsion method because they're using
things. I mean,
the equipment that would normally you would see the
jump off here. I'll let you
engine exhaust.
is
The thing has no engines.
immense.
Do you get it?
I've repeated over and over many times.
It phases out of electromagnetic reality, basically. It's not operating within the same electromagnetic rules as the rest of physical reality.
From day one, and never once did I falter in that belief, or did I say to myself, you know what, maybe some of these people are right. Maybe this is all just in
I mean,
our
they're
heads.
doing it, so
We're
it's
connecting
obviously,
dots that aren't
you
there.
know, a viable
This is
technology.
people, and I've seen enough evidence on the
What's confirmed in the report is that it's moving faster than jets can keep up with, and it's not using
channel. So
an engine of conventional means.
no. See more signs of that. This is the type of story we love here on Secure Team.
That's the kind of stuff they make in outer space.
Space cheese.
New videos in the works. If I give you more information about this, rest assured I'll post
The
it.
Avengers helicarrier.
Once again, let's keep up the good fight for disclosure.
The flying aircraft carrier and Avengers.
It's like any day.
Loki tried to blow it up. Well, Joel, if that is a situation where if it did come from outer space, well, then who knows anything about it? What could you leak?
Well, this 1990.
That looks like a big piece of pizza.
What the hell is that thing you're hovering on there, Joel?
It's the foam doll that someone's calling it.
Oh, okay.
I guarantee it. That's all it is. Okay, guys, it's Tyler with Secure Team 6. Now, someone sent me this picture here. It's obviously could be maybe an alien. I don't know, guys. It's not really all that good looking, but I'm not really sure what's happening. But it's supposed
Joel, why do you say that's a doll? That's an alien.
And many of you will likely
it's someone
have
through
never
that
seen
foam
this
latex
before.
3.5
There's not a lot
foot
of
gray doll that you can get for
information
$160,
other
and they're hanging
than
it from
we
their
have some video
clothesline.
footage.
Just a quick rinse through for the weekend.
Joel, this was
They're not
1992.
trying.
They didn't have an eBay.
Entry night, Quebec, and
This is in Canada.
further, here is that footage.
So this is moving footage. It better be moving footage. Oh, it's not. It's just some low quality stills.
This footage was from the Russian dark web.
Color me convinced. Look, I just don't. I just.
This is a Canadian snowmobiling club that found this alien.
Well, then what happened to
in
the body?
snow.
The body, but they didn't make beef jerky out of it. I mean, I would, but look what they took. It just looks okay. So they're propping it up
The
like
Men in Black.
it's not frozen solid. It looks like it's snowing in there.
Yeah. Okay.
It'd be made out of wax, is all I'm saying. I couldn't. You know what? I would not be able to handle having a dead gray in front of me because I'd be like, take my fingers to his lips, make him go me and stuff like that. I'm sorry. Huh. So what happened,
Well,
Tom?
if they're all as spindly as that, we've got nothing to worry about.
And if you've never seen this before, don't worry yourself because not a lot of people have. It was recently featured back online again after another UFO channel said that they had discovered it in the deep web under the file name, quote, EBE 1992 Eager. And as you just saw in the video footage, it's technically video footage, but it's not. It looks as if someone is playing this video on a monitor and showing paused shots, okay? And then someone is actually videoing it with a camera. So we're basically getting secondhand video shots of a monitor.
Exactly.
so,
I mean, you
as
don't know if this
mysterious
is a
as
movie
it is,
prop or
just on
something.
its
That's
face,
what
all of the photos
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying.
you look to show a discovery of some type of body in the snow.
think about it,
And,
Tom. If we were
you know,
making
just
a
from
video,
being alive
if we were
back
making
in
a movie with an
1992, I can
alien,
say that at the very
we'd do
least,
stuff like
they
this
do
too.
look legitimately
We'd
like they were from
prop it
that
up and
year
pose it,
from
make him drink
Weidenbener
beer and
dress.
stuff.
Just from the video quality, it almost looks like an old VHS tape. At
Yeah,
certain
Bayrashi
points
says it's a
in the
dead
imagery,
Asgard.
It looks as if the body is hung up on a rope, possibly an electrical line of some sort.
It's a snowman.
Gathered around the EBE, as we will call it. And by the way, EBE stands for Extraterrestrial
He's
Biological.
not dead. He's just lazy.
Is a moniker widely used within the UFO research field. So from now on, we will call this the EBE. And so after doing a little digging, I discovered some more information that kind of gives us a little bit of a backstory about this. The info on this is scant. There is no doubt. But today we'll just go through what we know so far and what at least I could find. And so firstly, it's said that the witnesses of this sighting, of this incident, did not want to release the photos to the public at the advice of a local UFO investigator. And so a friend then decided to secretly video using a VHS camcorder the original photos. And only recently did this person decide to make the video public. And the video was said to have been released anonymously. The EBE was said to have been found in a wooded field near a road by 3 snowmobilers. The individuals in the photos were part of a local snowmobile club.
Their gang is called the Snowmo Buddies.
On the EBE in the late evening. The conditions
They catch
were very
aliens.
snowy out. They did not touch the EBE due to fear of contamination. The individuals
So
in
they
this
propped it up
video
with
have
sticks?
not been identified. It said that the men hoisted the EBE with sticks and eventually with a rope or a cable. The entity appeared to have been lying in the snow for quite some time. It said that the individuals left the body due to the fear and risks of contamination.
Oh,
and upon
bullshit.
returning the
Dude, we
following
find a
day,
dead alien body.
it was
It's coming
gone.
back to town with
It's also
us.
said that during this time, UFOs were reported in the
I'm
area.
locking and loading, and it's coming
Now,
back to
again,
town with
whether
us.
this is real or
Stuffing
not,
it in my
we don't
refrigerator.
know.
It's going on the
From what I
wall.
found online,
Also, if you're propping up something that's dead on a line, it's probably going to fall off right away.
10 years later, although I haven't been able to find any information on that definitively. From what I can see, there's nothing in the footage that would tell me, or at least indicate that it was fake. Many people believe the video and photographs to be real. The physical anatomical details are
It's
said
just,
to
I
preclude
can't, this drives me up the
from
wall.
being a
Hey,
hoax.
3
And that
snowmobilers
in
are
the
out there.
early
They find this
1990s,
thing,
the
and they're like,
cost
gee whiz,
to
guys,
hoax
this could be
this
really
EBE
bad. Let's
would
just
have
leave
been
it out here. And they're
very
like, yeah,
costly.
let's get out of here. Come
And
on,
so
that doesn't
the
happen.
EBE was said to have been discovered in an area outside of Montreal near the Rouge River.
I
which
mean,
is a
Magnus,
river
would a
in western
Canadian really
Quebec,
do
which
that? A
empties
Canadian on a
into the
snowmobiler?
Ottawa
Are you really
River
going to leave a friggin'
near
alien out there?
Pointe-aux-Chênes and Fort Montreal.
That's
They said they were going to
Eastern
come back for it later, but then it was gone.
No, as it was first
They think differently out there.
really see the outline, the head, the body. And if you look down here toward the feet, it almost appears that the EBE has possibly boots or something, of a dark nature covering its feet. Now, while
Space
looking
boots.
at this photograph of the face, you'll notice that the nostril slits are filled with snow. The eyelids, we notice this sort of gaze, that you would see with many cadavers, of when the eyes just sort of are gazing out into nothingness. It's very similar to what you would see post-mortem.
No, poor alien.
It's said that the cheeks, you'll notice here, are swollen, likely due to freezing.
I hope
and
it's not
fog.
real.
I wonder
because
what
I'd
he
be
did to
sad
get
for him.
behind like
To be
that.
some sort of trauma.
Where did he escape?
Poor little guy.
You think he escaped from somewhere? That's the only thing that makes sense to me. If he was a crew on a ship, they wouldn't have left him behind.
Look very.
Yeah, it has a prisoner vibe to it.
Another question that's been asked is that
Yeah, he's like an
are the
escaped
whites
prisoner
that
dying
we're
out in the
seeing
cold.
corners of these black eyes simply
And he
snow
got frostbite,
in the corners, or are these
froze
actually
to death.
of the eyes? It's also been asked whether these eyes are.
That's how
Those
they
eyes
pop
look
them up
legit,
the line. You
Look at that
these
face. I mean,
alien
that
beings have been found
it doesn't
wearing
look
almost
fake.
as
I
a
mean, this looks like a
shielding
really
source
good
when
prop
we would
if that's
wear a
what it
pair of
is.
glasses. Now, likewise, as we're looking at the neck area here, there seems
The eyes are dilated,
to be
rigor mortis, and it's bloating.
such as the Adam's apple, the esophagus, the trachea.
Yeah,
We
I'm
can
going to
also
say that's
see in
pretty
some of the
legit
photos
looking.
What appears to be a rib cage, or at least the ribs popping out through the skin, along with clear shoulder blades as well. So this thing is very anatomically correct, I guess you could say. which definitely errs on the side of it being real. But again, I will leave that up to you guys. Now, there's a part of the video which
It's very
shows the
childlike
EBE,
too,
being
and that's what people have
carried away
reported. They have like
using
childlike
this
looking
rope
faces. Some of
or
the grays.
cable. Now, what you're seeing here, again, appears to be something similar that would happen when a body is frozen or experiences freezing temperatures where the tissues themselves become frozen and stiff, and would support, again, the claim that this is legitimate footage. Now, in some of the photos, you can see one of the witnesses holding a flashlight, which has been identified as a Collier type flashlight, widely used, or at least used, in 1992. It's said from analysis that there are 4 to 5 witnesses in these photographs, and more may have been involved, but we just don't see them in the footage. And here we have another image done by another researcher online that is pointing out some more anatomical features in the neck and of the eyes that further point to this being a legitimate EBE, or just a very well done hoax. Because it takes a lot of time not just to create something, but to put the muscle structure in, the bone structure to make it 100%.
Well,
It takes a lot of time,
special effects
especially back in 19.
can are often will study anatomy to the point where they're going to know how to make it as realistic as possible.
An autopsy and sold for money in films.
But that's not amazing.
I go through all of that money.
Pointing out there.
Years later, anonymously, doesn't make a lot of sense. And likewise, we see these muscles as well in the upper and lower legs.
Yeah, people that make puppets begin
looking at
with the anatomy.
You have what
Exactly.
is a skin anomaly, where it almost, in parts here, it looks like there are cuts, or almost like a wrapping, like you would see on a mummy or a mummified body, where they wrap it in cloth, and you can notice that here. And so I'm not sure if this is some sort of tearing, or if indeed this is some sort of external wrap that the EBE used to maybe shield it from the elements while visiting the planet. I just don't know, but it is strange. And so, yeah, without further information, we don't know.
It's the same as when forensic specialists rebuild.
Like from the footage,
they find a skull and then they,
in my opinion, I don't have anything
reassemble what the person looked like.
Maybe in the opposite direction. But if it was a hoax, you would think that they just would have taken pictures right there at the scene and not video.
But I mean, if it was that cold out there,
monitor,
a body is going to freeze in its position. It's not going to move.
Yeah.
It's going to be frozen solid.
Where did the body go? Where are the witnesses?
Well,
and this footage gotten.
If the story is true, somebody came and got it.
We would be posting this. So, very interesting finding. An explosive smoking gun finding, if this turns out to be legit. And so in the end, you guys are just going to have to watch the video. Tell me what you think.
Maybe it was sick and it was going to contaminate the rest of the crew, so they booted it out.
Stay tuned. We'll see you back in just a bit.
Get out and walk.
I don't know. I think it escaped from somewhere. That's my inkling on it. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm sitting on for right now, I think.
Well, Joel, as you pointed out, there's no solid evidence, though, and so you almost have to dismiss it out of hand.
1992 footage. Tom, what was the forest you were mentioning earlier on? Was that in England? Was that the MOD thing?
The 1980 Air Force Base incident in England.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yes. Some of the images they were showing there of a spacecraft just reminded me of the vehicle which made its way into the forest.
They got guys from the Ministry of Defense from the Air Force who witnessed it, right? From what I remember, anyway.
It was witnessed by multiple people.
Okay.
And one of them, they didn't have cameras laying around back then, but one of them was carrying his miniature tape recorder that he uses for his duties, and he made a live recording during the encounter with the UFO that was hovering in the forests of England.
Okay. Yeah, I remember watching a few years ago. A big deal about it. Yeah.
It's a very big deal because multiple Air Force personnel saw this in real time together, including someone that was at the lookout tower and the 2 forward officers that went and got within feet of it. They could feel
I was going to say
coming off of it.
It landed, right? Or it was close to landing anyway, from what I remember.
I remember that.
And yes, and it burned the ground, it burned the trees around it, and it did incredible maneuvers through the trees and through the forests.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out again. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we should do an episode where we review and discuss it.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was. I'll check it out. I'm not sure where the forest is. If it's not too far away, I can go on a little jaunt and see what they got.
That would be sensational. Magnus, are you familiar with the Shag Harbor incident?
I am not.
And don't make an innuendo there.
You know I'm this close.
Joel, can you boot up Shag Harbor incident on the channel All Time Conspiracies?
Does this have to do with mining the harbor?
It has to do with the most famous USO of all time, which is an unidentified submergible object. And this is also a heavily documented event and something that has government files. Were kept secret for many years, but it's considered to be Canada's most famous UFO incident. That's why I thought you might be familiar with it.
No, I mean, Canada,
even though, well, it occurred on the other side of the country from you, but very, very famous.
I'll definitely look into it.
Well, some of the things that you were reporting also reminded me of this.
1967 police in Nova.
Also, there's a couple things in Canada that might potentially be related to this. One of them is the DEW project, which was the distant early warning system that was put in during the Cold War era. You probably heard about it as a line of defense if the Soviets ever attacked the U.S. And then there's the HAARP weather projects as well, HAARP, and that is up in Canada as well in the north. And there have been many, many strange reports. Well, this could be related to that.
Magnus, didn't you say you actually saw objects coming up out of the water at one point?
Hovering above the water, there were 3 of them. It was at an outdoor festival about 17 years ago, I think. Anyway, I was with 2 other friends, and these 3 lights came up over the horizon and hovered there for quite a while as if they were looking at us. And then they darted across the sky, like very, very quickly, like not like a plane or anything, rapid. And they hovered right above us. And all they were lights. There was 3 of them, and they came together and formed a triangle, and then they separated again and dissipated. And 2 other guys, like I said before, were witnesses of that also. So.
That sounds like orb activity.
Yeah, well, but it seemed a little more dense than an orb. It seemed like it was there was something propelling it. We couldn't hear anything. There was no sound. So maybe it was, but it just seemed a little more third-dimensional or solid. You know what I mean?
Well, my grandmother would say that I guess it's very rare, but ball lightning. You guys heard of ball lightning?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting about that. It's one of the things. It's one of the go-to excuses that a lot of skeptics are going to jump to. Oh, you saw something like that. Well, obviously, it was just ball lightning.
Well, this was over the ocean, and there was not even anything close to storm activity. It was not a cloud in the sky.
Well, that plus it's kind of like I think the way that these things move, they have an organic feel to them. It's not some sort of a blind, blunt force shade of nature. It's something that's much more. It seems intelligent.
Yeah, and it felt like they were watching us. It really did hover, and it came a bit closer, and then it just took off.
You guys were left with just more questions than you had.
We were, yeah.